In this video, I build a system to bring cows, pigs, sheep, and chickens that separates the babies, grows them up, and then tickles them into a large variety of tasty meats. I also terraform a huge area and address a terrible mistake I made in the previous video. Let's create. Guys, I've made a huge mistake! As you know, I've always tried to keep a very strict level of realism in my Minecraft worlds and builds because at its core, Minecraft is a real-life simulator game. Hold on one moment while I fly up here with my jetpack, drink this potion, and stand in this lava underneath an anvil that's held up by a piece of string that's not attached to anything and not get burnt. So yes, obviously everything in Minecraft is hyper-realistic, and that's something I've strived to keep in all of my builds and contraptions. Contraptions such as this lava train that goes into a different dimension in order to fetch lava in order to power my power stations. Totally realistic. Oh, jeez. And builds like my power station that's completely maintained and operated by monkeys. Hyper-realism. And speaking of power stations, the most realistic thing in here are all of these aliens that I went to another dimension to trap, put in these metal cages, and force them to drink lava in order to heat up these turbines in order to create power. It's probably the most realistic thing in my whole world. And while we're on the subject of contraptions, obviously another hyper-realistic thing is all the monkeys I've got running my logistics over at these industrial factories that just take cobblestone and turn it into 19 different varieties of items, including probably one of the most common resources in the world, and that's soul sand. Very common, just like real life. And while we're on the subject of realism, my cable cars that are all driven by unique drivers have seats and carry wood and lava from this cable car area to a logging camp the other side of that hill. That would definitely happen in real life. Hold on, let me just throw this green ball I got from an alien so I can find somewhere better to talk to you about all of this. Perfect. Teleportation. Yes, I do that regularly at home. So yeah, Minecraft. Totally realistic. I would never ever do anything that's not totally realistic and can't be done in real life. So when I built this A4 class express train and attached it to these freight containers, you were absolutely right to lose your minds in my comments and my Discord about how totally unrealistic and practically impossible it would be for an express train to carry freight containers. So you're right. I made a stupid mistake. I'm a total idiot. How could I do this? The Sir Nigel Gresley that this train was made on would never pull freight. There's literally no video evidence that I happened to show in my last video at all of this ever happening. It wouldn't happen. Express trains can't pull freight ever. I'm just such a moron. Now you could argue that this single player world doesn't actually have any passengers that need to be moved, and I do have an extraordinary number of items that need moving. So, you know, building a cool train to move those items about is a really cool idea. And you could argue that all of the times in history when express trains were commissioned to pull freight instead of passengers, that could excuse me from this crime that I've committed. Well, that's not realistic. It just wouldn't happen. Especially all of the times that it did happen in real life, particularly during wartime when there weren't many passengers to carry about and the countries needed a massive amount of freight moving from one end of the country very, very quickly. And they used express trains. Well, clearly that wouldn't happen, even though it did. But it wouldn't. So I hear you. I apologize for making such a ridiculous mistake, and as a result, poor old Nigel's gonna have to be decommissioned. I do apologize, Nigel, but you're gonna unfortunately have to spend the rest of your days blocked away in this little tunnel, unless by some freak of nature I just happen to have a surplus of passengers that arrive in this single player world just totally by happenstance, and then you're required to pull some passengers. But I do have to say that's quite unlikely. Goodbye, Nigel. So now Nigel's put away, I'm gonna do the right thing by righting my wrongs and building a freight train to pull this freight wagons instead. And here it is, a freight train. However, guys, I've done it again! After spending ages building this in-game, I've just trawled the internet archives looking for any evidence that this train pulled freight, but all I could find was a whole ton of videos of this exact locomotive pulling Amtrak passenger cars. I've built another passenger locomotive! I'm so dumb! What an idiot! Right, well, you're no good. You're gonna have to go away as well. It was a nice freight train, though. But don't worry, peeps, I've got a new idea that's possibly the best idea I've ever had. It will be 100% realistic. No one will be able to tell me it's not suitable for pulling these freight cars. It's going to be the most suitable vehicle for pulling freight that you've ever seen. And behold, in all of its glory, I have built a giant skateboard. And to really seal this realism, to prove to you that I've learned from my mistakes, I'm going to bring over the most famous train driver you've ever seen in the whole history of the world. You all 100% definitely know them, and they are the Pope. Off you go, Pope. Have a good time. Well, that's much better. I feel a whole lot better about all of that now. Good. And with all that out of the way, I think I've had enough of being ultra realistic for now, and I want to do something a little bit different. So I'm going to build something totally ridiculous, which is a barn that has animals in it. Crazy. However, before I can start building over here, I really want to sort out this terrain here. See, this is a total mess. We're going to be building here in a couple of episodes time, and in order to know what level I need to build all of this on, I really need to fix all of this up. So I'll be back with you in a minute. Well, that is an absolutely massive difference compared to what the area was like before, but there's still a massive amount to do. But just to go through a few changes that I've made, we've now got a wall in front of this hotel, and we've got some stairs up there with a whole bunch of lanterns on. We've got some stairs there ready to join a path up to over there. We've smoothed off all of that terrain and just filled it with snow, and I've smoothed the snow down, gradually bringing it down towards this end here, and then rebuilt all of these little platforms where we're going to have buildings soon. I've also continued the snow line from where we've got it on our factory roof over there, along here, around the corner, and it's going to then go around here and meet up with the mountain, but I haven't done any of that yet because this has taken me hours. I've literally been doing this for about 3.5 hours. I'm a little bit fed up of placing snow, so I think it's about time to move on and actually start working on this barn area, but unfortunately, I haven't actually managed to deal with any of the terrain over here yet, but at least I've got a better idea of what level that's going to be, so now I'm going to have to build out a whole area's worth of terrain over here so that then I can build a barn. Oh, jeez. Well, that's a big old area that I have now terraformed with a whole bunch of things in it that I don't really want to go over and see. So I guess I'll tell you my plan for... Oh my goodness, there's loads more over here. Where did it all come from? Well, maybe I should have lit this area up. Oh, geez, stop it. No, thank you. Okay, so this area then. We've got a two-tiered area to be working on. This area up here is going to have buildings, and this area down here is going to have farmland and some animals in it. And speaking of animals, we're going to have even more animals up here. So this building is going to be some stables where we're going to keep horses. This one's going to be either pigs, chickens, or cows. This one's going to be either pigs, chickens, or cows. And this one's going to be either pigs, chickens, or cows. Well, basically because I haven't decided which one the pigs, chickens, and cows are going in yet. And in between all these buildings, we're going to have a little farm track running down here, and that's going to run all the way down here towards the fields, and then we're going to do something rather interesting in order to harvest the fields. But before we get to any of that, the first thing we need to build is obviously the big old barn area. Now, I was toying between the ideas of a farmhouse or a barn. I wasn't really sure which one to go with, so I think it's going to look more like a barn. Okay, in order to make a whole bunch of materials that are going to be suitable for us, we're going to be making use of the chipped mason table and the chipped botanist workbench, which is this one. On the botanist workbench, I can make a whole bunch of different styles of hay blocks, which is great, and I can also make a whole bunch of different styles of gravel, and this dusty gravel here, to me, looks perfect for like a farm area concrete, because it's got that, I don't know, mucky, muddy, but concretey feel to it. And what goes really nice with that is this sanded stone, just to add a little bit more of a stone type feel, I guess. Now this gravel also has these blocks, and that one kind of looks a little bit like hay, although it's quite vibrant. And this one, I don't know if we could use that. It almost looks like it might fit in with the snow, but I think it's a bit yellow for that one, so we probably won't really be using those ones. So let's take the botanist workbench and the mason table, and for good measure we might as well take everything else down there with us. And that'll just save us having to keep coming back up here every time I need some new blocks. So I guess now that we've got that in, it's time to actually build the main part of the barn. How hard could it be? What could possibly go wrong? Hit that time-lapse music stuff? I don't know, maybe. If you're enjoying this video, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. It only takes a couple of seconds and it really helps me out. And there we go. We have a little barn. It looks like Mr. Beardstone's storage system. No, it doesn't. It looks like this picture, which is modelled off, loosely. Now, it could probably do with a little bit more decoration and things later on, but let's focus on the inside, which I've left completely empty, ready for lots of things. And before we get all excited about what's real and what's not, this sort of place would probably be home to either animals or grain or something like that, but in fact, this is going to be a slaughterhouse. It's not a slaughterhouse. I know, it doesn't look like one, but that's what it is. See, we can use deployers, we can give them wheat, and we can basically set those up to breed animals, and then we can separate those animals so that the babies end up somewhere else, and then when they grow up, they can be dealt with. But before we get too carried away with what type of animals we're going to have in here, we should probably check out the Farmer's Delight mod and see what foods are available. And the main meats we're really going to be dealing with are the beef patties, the bacon, the mutton chops, and the ham. And there's also chicken. We need roast chickens in here as well. So we're basically going to be dealing with cows, pigs, sheep, and chickens. And I think the best way to do this would be to have the main animals that we're breeding up at this level here, so they're out of the way. We'll have some conveyors underneath them that are pushing the baby animals out to points that they can drop down. We can then filter the animals that are dropping down into these side bits here. So I think the first thing to do will be to get a floor in, and I think the best thing to do to save space is put the floor in at probably around about this level here, and that gives us 3 full blocks there to deal with the animals before we hit this beam, and then that gives us a little bit of room underneath for conveyors, and then that gives us plenty of room down here for everything else. And there we go, we've got a floor in. Nice. So the next thing I'm going to do is determine where all of the animals are going to be, and we're going to have 4 different types of animals, so we need 4 different pens. But before we start building walls and things, I'm going to build some conveyors. And the conveyors are just going to be in groups of 3, a little bit like that. Now I need an animal to test things, and I could really do with a cow or something. Now there was a sheep kicking about over here while I was building, but it's probably despawned by now, and typically when you need animals in Minecraft, they all magically vanish. I've got this huge grass area over here that's perfect for things to spawn on, but all we seem to get is these Galata monkeys and a bunch of flies. Head into the woods then, let's see if we can find anything in here. A sheep and a chicken, perfect. See, obviously when I hold wheat, a sheep will follow me, but will it follow a deployer? Will the sheep go to it? Or is it just no? It's going to totally ignore it. You suck, sheep. Okay, fine. Let's grab some andesite bars and stick them on that conveyor like that. And then if we put some slabs across here, can that sheep fit under those slabs to get out? And yeah, that sheep is stuck, but a baby won't be. If I stick him in there, get myself a little hand crank, and then do that. There we go. So that fed the sheep. Perfect. Nice. So we just need a couple of sheep in there and a couple of cows in there and a couple of pigs in there, and then we'll have to figure out how we're going to do chickens, because chickens are totally different. I want this to look farmyardy. I do want it to look like it's part of a farmyard. I don't want it to look too industrial. So that's why I'm going with these iron bars, because it kind of does look like animal pens. Right, let's go grab another sheep, a couple of cows, and a couple of pigs. How hard could it be? What could possibly go wrong? Another sheep. Perfect. Good. Sheep number 2. Oh, no. Oh, geez. Okay. Right. We didn't. Oh, geez. Maybe I should get one from over here instead. Villages normally have all the animals stashed away somewhere, don't they? In fact, there's a little pen down here that when we started this phase, I actually came over here and showed you the pigs. There we go. A whole bunch of pigs, look. And a horse. And a chicken. Pig, I feel very close to your bottom right now. I hope you don't need the toilet. Right, pig number 2. I need you. Oh, hang on a minute. Pigs have got a different height hitbox. Oh, yeah, pig can get straight out. Okay, fine. In that case, if we put slab at that level, will babies be able to get underneath it? We need to find out. I wonder if pigs will eat onions or tomatoes. Ooh. Do you want onion, mate? No. Tomato? Oh, yeah, they'll eat tomatoes. Excellent. Good. That should give us a baby pig. No, the baby fits. The baby fits. Perfect. Okay, that's pig sorted out as well then. Oh, what was that? A chicken. Hello. I'm hoping this chicken's not just going to float away up here, but it's not trapped in, so maybe I should make some fences and pen it in. Chicken. There you go. I spy with my little eye something beginning with chicken. What is it? It's a duck. Oh man, I nearly guessed it. I have spied another sheep. Amazing. Right, just cows then. If those villagers got any cows, I can see a pen over there. Oh wait, no, it's got cows and villagers. Okay, 1 cow. Oh, a donkey. Oh, you'll be good for my stables, donkey. Don't keep stables in a donkey. No, you don't keep stables in a donkey. You're right, keep donkey in a stables, moron. Oh yeah. Right, don't stand on the other cow or get stuck in a wall. Perfect. Perfect. Well done. Good job, cow. Excellent. We've got 2 cows, 2 pigs, 3 pigs, 2 sheeps, and 2 chickens, and a donkey, and a raccoon riding the donkey. Because why not? Does your baby fit through the gap, cows? It does. Excellent. Good. But now I'm running out of space in here to keep all these things in, so I'm sorry, baby cow, but you're going to have to come through here into my new pen. There you go. With your donkey friend, your pig baby friend, and of course your best of friends, the raccoon. There we go. I don't know if raccoons will escape from there, so let's put him back on the donkey. And there he's not going anywhere. Good. Now, of course, we're going to need to be able to fill these things with the food items and stick some chutes underneath those going into the deployers. There we go. So we might as well stick a bunch of seeds in there. Let's stick a bunch of wheat in there. I'll probably regret this because no doubt I'll end up moving it all in a minute. And some tangy toms in there. Perfect. Good. Right. Chickens then. How are we going to deal with chickens? I guess we just need to make it really small. So let's for now just stick another slab there. And let's see. I don't want you in the conveyor. Oh, jeez, now what have I done? You stupid chicken. Can the chickens escape? No, they can't. But the babies will be able to because they'll be tiny. And obviously the chickens are going to end up laying a bunch of eggs as well, which is going to go into this system. But that's not a... Oh, jeez. But that's not the end of the world because we're going to need eggs too. There we go. We've now got 2 little chickens in a hole. If I put those bars there, that'll stop them jumping out of there, and that should mean that they're always going to get fed. Okay, so now that all of that is in place for all of those animals, the next thing we're going to need to do is have somewhere for these conveyors to go. So I guess we're going to dig a big old hole in the floor here, big old hole in the floor here, and then we just run a few conveyors underneath these things. These ones will feed that way, these ones will feed that way, and then... but do we want to keep the animals separate? Are we going to be able to create some sort of slaughtering machine that deals with all of the animals, or do we need to keep them all separate? That's a good question. I don't know. Okay, over in my test world here, I have come up with a plan to deal with the animals. So we've got a creative motor, we've got a saw, we've got a slab, and we've got some hoppers underneath. And if I summon in a full-size cow, you'll see that that cow will take damage, die, and the items will get collected. And that also happens with a full-size sheep. In fact, it also happens with a full-size chicken, and it happens with a full-size pig. However, sadly, it also works with a baby cow, a baby sheep, but fortunately for us, a baby chicken doesn't get killed, and neither does a baby pig. So how are we going to deal with sheep and cows? Well, I think if I got rid of that slab and then put a cow there, it's still going to die. It does. What about a sheep? Yes, it does. But what about a baby cow? No, that's absolutely fine. And a baby sheep? No, that's absolutely fine too. But they are in the hoppers, which is a bit of a problem. So let's grab a bit of carpet and chuck that on there. Try again. The cow and the sheep will both end up minced, but the baby cow is absolutely fine, and so is the baby sheep. And back on the actual world, this thing couldn't be set up better because we've got pigs and chickens going into these conveyors, and we've got cows and sheep going into these ones. So all we need to do is make sure that we keep the cows and the sheep separate from the pigs and the chickens. Okay, I've been a little bit busy putting in our killing machines. So imagine you're a little piggy or a chicken, you're coming down here, you end up on this one, you go round here, you get shoved under there, and then you end up on that slab. Now, I've no idea if that's going to work to transfer them onto that slab without just slicing them on that. So we might have to figure that out later on. And then on this side, because we don't want a slab, we're just going to carry them onto the conveyor, which will keep them in that spot there. So I guess all I need now is power and then to test this thing. Well, power's a long, long way away. I might, because it's so far away from our power station, I might just add a cheeky water wheel in this one and just use that for now. And for now, I think 5 large water wheels will be more than enough. Now, we should probably stick on a speed controller, and the belts and the killing systems can all go at the same time. That's absolutely fine. All we need to do now is divert that up there. There we go. That's got it into the loft. Now we just need to get all of this stuff powered. Okay, I have this side completely connected. All of the conveyors are going in the right direction, and even our little saw is going. So now all I need to do is this side. I'm sticking a horizontal gearbox there and one there, and that keeps the belts going the right way. And then all I need is a vertical gearbox there. And there we go. Look, it's breeding the sheep, and that's breeding the chickens. Oh, this is good. But they are going down, but he's fighting very hard against those conveyors to get back to his parents. Oh, there's a baby cow in there, but it's not moving. Maybe we need the belts to go faster, but have we got anything? Oh, we got some XP down here. Oh dear. We don't want XP at this point here. Oh, no, here comes the sheep. Is it going to work? It's working. So now that's just going to wait till it's grown up. Oh, good. We've got a pig down here, but it's not going on the slab. I thought that might be a problem. The baby cow is very much still in there. Why are you in there, baby cow? Oh, and the cow's grown up now. Oh, no. Well, I think
think I may have solved all of my little problems now. Upstairs is a little bit different from last time I showed you, and that's because everything is now floating on top of these iron bars. So by squeezing them into a little box like this, we can be more accurate with the deployers feeding them to breed them. We can also, using the little iron bar underneath, make sure that there's hardly anything for the babies to stand on. And once we've got enough adults in here, that will actually make sure the babies get pushed off even more, all down onto these conveyors. Down at the bottom here, we got a whole bunch of things going on down here. As you can see, we've got a bunch of cows lined up ready to go, and we've got a pig as well, but still no chickens yet, and I think that's because the chickens get minced before they should do. Oh no, that little piggy jumped, he went in the saw and he died. Yeah, that's a problem. But it grew and it died, and I got pork chops. Okay, one problem we've got here that I can already see is that these cows and sheep are backing up, which is not ideal. So realistically, I need to redo this so that they all fall down a hole into the same spot. And then I want to use a deployer down here to actually give them even more wheat to grow them up faster so that they can get minced a bit quicker. And here in my creative world, here is my little plan. We're going to have a conveyor. It's going to drop down a couple of blocks. There's going to be a piston at the bottom, and then there's going to be our slabby killing machiney thing. And then if we simulate a chicken and a pig, a baby ones, going down onto that conveyor, they fall down the hole and they will get pushed up onto the slab. And then that way, when they grow up, they're going to get minced. Perfect. So here we go. We have a brand new system in place that's hopefully going to do the job we need it to do. So what's going on is we've got a couple of pistons at the bottom here and 2 chutes on either side. I've decided to mirror this up and use pistons for both of them, just because that way we should be able to cram a few more animals into the spaces on both sides and not have a backlog. So if I flick that lever, both pistons go. You'll see a little egg was down there. That just got popped into this hopper there, and we're collecting quite a few eggs. I haven't tested it yet. No doubt none of it's going to work. Power, connect. Animals breed. Give me lots of babies. There we oh, of course. Anything, yeah, there's a couple of baby chickens there, but they're not falling off. Fall off. Oh, the baby cow's fallen off now. That's good news. Yeah, so there we go. Got a couple of baby cows in there. That's good. And XP there again. Does that mean we've had another chicken? Oh, here we go. We've got baby pig coming. Sort of. There we go. What happens? No, that worked. The pigs work. I'm going to break my way through here, and I'm just going to throw a whole bunch of eggs onto these conveyors and hopefully get some baby chickens so that we can actually see what's going on here. Oh, that one went on. That was okay. Well, I was going to do a little bit of AFK and see how this thing went, but I can see already we've got a problem. You see, this little piggy's trying to wee run all the way home, but I just need you to, oh, jeez. Well, clearly things here are not perfect. We've got a big pig up there, and we've got a big pig coming. What? How did, oh, that's happening again. Judging by the very small amount of things we've got going through here, it's a roaring success. And the fact that we've got a sheep on the outside here as well, and a large cow up there. Oh my goodness. Yeah, this is why it's not been a roaring success. So I guess realistically, this whole thing's gonna need a whole bunch more work. The other thing I really should be considering here is using these blades is probably not gonna give us the maximum we can get from these animals. If I was to use deployers with swords with looting on, for instance, I'd get a whole lot more. But this is not something I want millions from. It's just something I want to run over time to occasionally fill up some food things in order to occasionally feed myself. It doesn't need to be crazy, but it does need to work. Okay, after a lot of faffing about in this creative world, I think I've got something that is suitable for pigs, cows, and sheep. Unfortunately not chicken, but here goes. So what we've got here are the command blocks that spit out the baby animals, and they'll grow up in 200 ticks, which is about 10 seconds. Underneath that, a couple of blocks down is a conveyor pushing everything this way with a trapdoor at the end with a stair in front of that. And above that, we've got a water stream. And if we look at the hitboxes of the animals as they come down, none of them can reach the water stream even if they're on this slab until they grow up. But as soon as they grow up, they're going to go into the water stream. Come on, pig. There we go. And they get pushed straight into that saw there. And because the stairs hitbox is smaller, that means they can get pushed right up to it. And even if we've got a whole bunch of things in here, nothing gets pushed into the saw until it's all grown up. And that's all working absolutely perfectly. And with a whole bunch more fiddling, I think I've just fixed my chicken problem. And it's quite easy. We just have a conveyor coming over here onto a slab underneath this saw facing in that direction. And when babies come down here, they just sort of drop off the edge there and then queue up. But then when they grow, they die. That works perfectly. Well, with a good bit of jiggery pokery later, this whole place is looking a lot tidier. And we kind of have a system in place here. And I've decided instead instead of using water, to use a fan. The idea is the animals will get blown by this fan and this conveyor onto these trapdoors here. They'll stay there until they're grown up, then they'll be big enough to get into the fan and then they'll hit the blade. Anyway, while that's running, I'm going to start building the chicken system. And look at that circle of chickens. That might be a bit too many. Okay, everything is now in. Downstairs, the chicken machine is prepared. I haven't tested it yet, but I can't see why it wouldn't work. I've turned everything off, which is why that sheep's not dead. So let's turn everything back on. Hopefully that sheep's going to get minced. It is. That's good news. And hopefully we'll start getting some chickens down here soon. Oh, and there we go. We got one straight away. That's good. Is it going to make it down the hole? It is. Is it going to make it across here onto the slab without getting killed? Go on, little chicken. Don't fight against destiny. But as you can see, most of them like to just completely defy wind and conveyors, and they're trying so hard to get back to their mothers. Don't feel sorry for them. It's just a game. They're not real. They're digital cows. They're digital pigs. They're digital sheep and chickens. They're not real. Just a game. Oh, well, this one does look pretty realistic. There we go. Another chicken. You can do it. All you got to do is get down onto that slab without dying. But the creative world, they didn't die at all. This one is exactly the same, but they never die. The babies don't die when they hit that one. If I trap a mummy chicken in here, hello mummy chicken, don't escape, and then I do that. Ah, okay, well that's weird. If it's tracking its mummy, it dies. It's also doing the moonwalk. But if it's not, it lives. Why? Well, I've done a whole bunch more fiddling around in here. I've moved things all around and I've made it a million times better. So now we've got this entire end of the room here totally free. Both farms are over this side of the room. Both of them have deployers in to feed the chickens and feed the cows and feed the pigs. We've got rid of the conveyors inside, which gives them more room to grow up. Although if we do get a lot of babies in here, they do push themselves into the fans, which is why we've now got the deployer to prevent them from happening so they can grow up faster. And as a result of this, we are actually getting quite a few drops, mainly eggs, a bit of chicken, some feathers, and a reasonable amount of beef, leather, wool, pork, and mutton. And I've replaced all of the andesite bars around here with glass for two reasons. One, everything kept getting stuck on the edges because bars are not a full block, and two, I wanted to be able to see in here. The only other change I've made is to our power. I've got rid of the water wheels and put this massive big wall block in here instead to act like a windmill. Even though it's the ugliest thing in the world, it just gives us a little bit more power, and it's very, very cheap. And we've got a whole bunch of speed controls in here and a whole bunch of shafts and things controlling everything going, and it's all on and offable now. So everything's going well. Now, there's a couple of things I still need to do in this part of the process, and that is to automate getting all of these items in here, and also now automate getting all of the items into the deployers as well. So that could be quite tricky, because I also want to use this space here and this space here to actually process the meat. And you might be thinking, why aren't you using lava to kill them when they grow up instead of these stores? Well, it's because I don't want it cooked. I really need the raw beef and the raw mutton and the raw pork chops and the raw chicken in order to process it to do what we need to do with the Farmer's Delight mod. Back in the basement, I have expanded it all and added another big old windmill thing down here, giving us another 8,192 SU. And the reason for that is in order to process these things, we're going to need a lot of power. And the reason we're going to need power is because we're going to be using some knives. And we're going to use these with the Create Slice and Dice add-on to make a slicer. And that slicer is going to automate that for us. I need a turntable. That's easy. And now I can make a slicer. I believe with this slicer, we can grab ourselves a knife, for instance, a flint knife. And then I think, there we go. We can just, oh, we only need one. We can attach that to that, and then that just chops things up. I guess for this, we could probably use a depot. No, we can't use a depot. Oh, all right, it's going in the wrong direction. Throw another cog there to invert it. Chuck it back on. Stick its knives back on. There we go. It's not moaning at me now. Stick a chicken on. And there we go. Wow, look at that. Okay. And that's giving us chicken cuts and bone meal as well. Huh. Now, the thing is, does the type of blade matter? And does it take durability? No, there's no durability damage on there. We got a whole bunch of chicken cuts and bone meal. Okay, with three of them then, we'll give one a diamond one. We'll give this one an iron one, and that one's got flint, and we'll see if it makes any difference at all, depending on what type of knife it is. Okay, I've got 10 pieces of chicken for each one of these. One there, and one there. Let's see what happens. Do we get different items? Are they different speeds, or does it really not matter? I don't think it matters. That gave us 20 and 10. That gave us 20 and 10. And that one gave us 20 and 10. Yeah, so it really doesn't matter what type type of knives you use, and they don't take durability, which means we can just stick with flint knives because we've got millions of flint. Something like this should do the trick. We've got an item vault here with 2 brass funnels coming out. This one is only allowing leather and wool through because we don't want that to go through our slices, and that's going to come along this belt onto this one and go straight into there. This one is denying leather and wool, and it's only allowing 15 items through at a time. So if there's more than 15 pork chops or beef or mutton in there, it will allow 15 through at a time, and that gets split onto these 3 belts. And it's 15 because 15 is divisible by 3. That means we're going to get 5 items through each of these tunnels. 2 of them, so 10, will be turned into their sliced variants, and the other one will just come through clean into there. And that means we're storing all of those things at that point there, which can then be collected later on. Flint knife for you, and a flint knife for you. Let's reconnect it, and there we go. Those are getting sliced. That's good. Nothing coming out the middle one, but the one in the middle is just going straight through. Oh, of course, that's not going in. Oh, geez. Okay, stop. I've got a plan. Let's get rid of half of this vault, pick up all that stuff, make it slightly bigger in this direction. Extend these belts a little bit, put those funnels back on there, and then we grab another one of those and then put that there. That should be going in the right direction now. Good. So now we've got 2 slices going in the right direction. Gearbox back on. There we go. We're getting 2 lines that are processing the meat now. Oh, that's good. And then, like I say, a third of it's all just going to go through there. And there we go. We got a wonderful little mincing setup on this side. Slicing. Yeah, mincing. That's what I said. Right, now I've just got to do exactly the same thing over here for the chicken. This time it's a little bit different, but not massively. We're denying eggs and feathers because we don't want to mince those, and in that filter we're allowing them through. We set that to 15 again. This is on force split to allow 5 out of each one. We probably don't need 2 mincing machines for this one because we've only got chicken coming through here and it's pretty slow, but I've added them on anyway just for symmetry more than anything else. So if we throw a bunch of chicken into there, we should eventually see that chicken coming through this funnel here when it gets into the machine. All of the eggs are going through, and there we go. The chicken's going through and it's getting minced. Oh, and we're getting bone meal as well. I forgot about that. So there we go. Both of our little setups are complete. We should get a whole bunch of meaty things through there, a whole bunch of meaty things through there. And all we got to do with those things now is get them collected. That said, there's not too much point in collecting them just yet because we've got nowhere to send them. You see, all of these items are going to be going to our little houses and factory things that are over here, but they don't exist yet. So there's absolutely no point in designing a system to get them over there until we know where they're going. Oh no, we're still getting items on top of that. How am I supposed to get those out? Oh geez, this system sucks. Oh, you said it was all good. Well, in theory, it's really good. Okay, I think I've solved a couple of problems now. So we've now got the blades there, the water running under it, the chutes underneath the water. Hopefully that'll be enough to pick the items up. And these deployers are now coming out across the whole thing, which means even if they're on this side, it's going to be able to reach. That said, this lamb doesn't like tomatoes, so it's not really going to grow up. But eventually it'll move when more things come down. It'll get pushed in front of some wheat. And the way I've done that is just by pushing everything in a little bit and just having hoppers going into the back of the deployers now. And that means that this should, I keep saying it, but fingers crossed it should actually work now. I guess I've got to watch it again. Jeez. How? Okay, I can fix that. That's okay, guys. Don't worry. All I gotta do is put in even more of these stupid things and then just connect them. There we go. Why is there no power in there? Oh, that doesn't work like that. Oh, geez. I'm gonna connect that. Oh, no. One there and one there. No? Overstressed. Oh, that's why it's not working. It's overstressed, guys. Right. Yeah. Oh, geez. Right. We'll just turn things down a little bit. Hopefully we can save ourselves a little bit of stress. Don't know how baby one got in there, but it did. That's not ideal. Well, having sitting and watched this for a while, it's all working okay, apart from these deployers. The only problem is that these deployers are not always getting the right animal, and it always seems that sheep stand in front of tomatoes and pigs stand in front of wheat. But there is something I can do about that. What I'm thinking is something like this. A couple of deployers, an item vault and an interface, and they would be filtered to only allow tomatoes in one and wheat in the other. And then just on a minecart, they would be able to run along the side of this thing, poking the stuff in. But the minecart would need to run along this bit of track here, which I think there's enough room for, and then we wouldn't need 4 barrels with all of the different items. We'd only need 1 with a little interface on it, and that should work. And because this is a contraption, there's nothing to stop us putting the walls back in. Like that, and now nothing can escape. But now that I've done this and put it all back in place, I'm kind of thinking a toolbox would be better, because then we can actually determine that it's going to have tomatoes and wheat in it and not just by pure chance. So let's smash all of this to bits again, fill that one up with wheat, fill that one up with tomatoes, and let's just put sticks in the other one so absolutely nothing else can get in there. And now it shouldn't be able to fill up with too much, but it will always be able to get tomatoes and wheat. Right, before I can go turn everything back on, I of course need to fix the mess that I made in here, which means I need another a sign, which I don't have any on me apparently. Oh, this is bad. Oh, I got cut in half by a mechanical saw.